not just a biker, he's a ghost in the underworld. Necati Arrabaci built a criminal empire so ruthless, even his allies feared him. Assassination attempts failed. Cops couldn't touch him. From the streets of Cologne to the top of the Hells Angels. This is the story of the man they call untouchable. Necati's journey to power wasn't one paved with ease. He was born in the 1970s, a time when Cologne was rough, and immigrants like his parents often faced rejection and harsh realities. Necati's early life was marked by the struggle of fitting into a society that didn't make room for outsiders. His parents, who had hoped to build a better life in West Germany, faced long hours in factories and menial jobs, with little to show for their efforts. Necati saw this struggle daily and began to understand that survival meant gaining respect, and respect was rarely given. It was something you had to take. At just 14 years old, Necati found himself in the middle of a violent gang fight. Most kids would have backed away, but not Necati. He stepped in, fists clenched and eyes full of fire. At first, the older gang members scoffed at him. But when Necati showed he was willing to fight and stand his ground, something changed. They respected him. That moment marked the beginning of his life in the criminal underworld, where he would climb the ranks with speed. As Necati grew older, he started gaining more power and influence. He didn't just want to be part of the gang, he wanted to control it. He got his start by taking over Cologne's nightclubs, which were more than just places for dancing and drinking. They were hubs of the city's underworld, places where power, money, and influence could be gained. Necati wasn't just a bouncer. He became the gatekeeper of these operations. Soon, he was controlling the red light district, running brothels, drugs, and illicit businesses. His influence spread like wildfire, and the money started rolling in. But he didn't stop there. Necati knew that with power came enemies, so he used fear and manipulation to keep anyone who might challenge him at bay. He built his empire with brutal tactics, making sure that no one could stand in his way.
It wasn't just about stealing anymore. He started controlling people, his peers, the local shop owners. The world seemed smaller, more in his grasp. His first real taste of power came when he organized a crew of older teens to work for him.
It wasn't long before the Hells Angels noticed Necati. His ruthless rise through Cologne's criminal world made him a perfect fit for the club. The Hells Angels, known for their brutal code and empire building, saw Necati as a man who could help them expand their operations. Not just in Germany, but across Europe. With the Hells Angels backing him, Necati's power only grew stronger. He was able to run criminal networks across the continent with military precision, using his connections to maintain control over territories and illicit dealings. But as much as he thrived under the club's protection, his ambitions continued to grow. Soon, he was challenging the very rules that made the Hells Angels what they were. He wanted more, full control, and that led him to clash with other members of the club. As his influence expanded, so did the tension within the Hells Angels. Necati's refusal to share profits from a high-stakes operation put him on the club's radar, and not in a good way. The Hells Angels are a brotherhood, and loyalty is everything. Necati's ambitions began to threaten that loyalty. His disobedience earned him enemies within his own ranks, and his path to full control seemed inevitable. But with power comes danger. It wasn't long before those who saw him as a threat decided to take matters into their own hands. Necati became the target of assassination attempts, one in the street and the other at a cafe in broad daylight. The first attempt came as an ambush, a hail of bullets that should have ended his life. But Necati wasn't just any target. He survived, and the attempt only fueled his desire for revenge. His enemies were growing bolder, and the second attempt, aimed at him in front of witnesses, left several of his associates dead. Yet, Necati managed to escape once again. A clear sign that this man would not go down easily. Necati Arrabaci's criminal empire wasn't just built on brute force. It was also founded on smart alliances and a ruthless understanding of how to manipulate the underworld. As he rose through the ranks of the Hells Angels, Necati knew that power came from connections, not just violence. His influence spread far beyond Cologne, as he used his growing reputation to forge alliances with some of the most dangerous and influential criminal groups in Europe. One of his key partnerships was with the United Tribunes, a gang with deep roots in Germany and Turkey. This alliance allowed Necati to extend his reach, controlling even more illicit markets and smuggling routes, while also giving him a network of powerful allies who could protect him and help grow his operations. But it wasn't just the drug trade that fueled Necati's empire. His operations in human trafficking became a central part of his criminal portfolio. His chapter of the Hells Angels in Turkey acted as a hub for these illegal activities, with women being trafficked across Europe and beyond, often under the guise of legitimate businesses. The scale of his human trafficking network was staggering, and his ability to keep it running smoothly, despite constant surveillance, showed just how meticulous and calculating he was. He didn't just prey on vulnerable individuals, he turned them into commodities, trading their lives for profit. As his power grew, so did his wealth. Necati wasn't content with just running the streets. He sought to live like the powerful criminals he'd always admired. He laundered his illicit money through front businesses, from restaurants to nightclubs, which allowed him to amass a fortune that was nearly impossible to trace. His investments in luxury properties in exclusive destinations like Monaco and Turkey were a testament to his success. However, his growing wealth didn't make him any less dangerous. It only made him more of a target. While many criminals try to lay low, Necati flaunted his riches, understanding that in his world, fear and respect were everything. His luxury lifestyle was a way to further cement his place at the top, showcasing his success while sending a message to anyone who dared to challenge him. Despite his wealth and influence, Necati couldn't escape the law forever. Over the years, authorities in multiple countries have tried to bring him down, but Necati always seemed to slip through their fingers. His connections, his ability to manipulate people, and his knack for staying one step ahead made him almost untouchable. In 2020, Turkish authorities launched one of the most significant crackdowns on organized crime in the country's history, targeting Necati's empire. So, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below, and while you're at it, don't forget to check out our next video.